The purpose of Conquer 24. I think it's a event each year we run, obviously, to raise money for Holla. We're doing something every year to bring our community together, to push them to a limit and push them to certain boundaries. It's always a good thing. But main reason is Holla. Definitely the second reason is bringing our community together to do something special. The energy is always, it's such a vibe. When you get everyone in here, you start seeing everyone bring their sleeping bags, all their stuff in. It's like, here we go again. You know, it's here comes 24 hours of full on. And every year, every year I'm nervous before it starts, but the day after I'm like, it's almost euphoria when it's finished. I'm so happy. You think you'd be exhausted and tired, but I'm just always so like, I'm buzzing. I can't stop thinking about it. So it was really good.
Having now been a member of the Performance Club for, I don't know, I think it might be 4 months-ish, there is a strong feel of community. And whilst I certainly didn't feel, coerced into doing Conquer, it was kind of the type of event where I'm up for it and it would be hard to say no. It's part of the fabric of this business and this community. So I think for unless there's a valid reason to not do it, it's what you're at Performance Club for.
All right, so we are back for another Conquer 24. This is our 4th year we've run this, and we've pretty much transformed every single year to make it what it is today. So there's been a lot of organisation gone into it. The Holla Foundation is a mental health charity that raises awareness for mental health, and that's our sort of keystone. I had someone come up to me today, they thanked me for Holla, and I was like, oh, a bit shocked. And he said his best mate committed suicide on Wednesday, and it really hit me. And he said, you mean what you guys are doing in terms of creating awareness, your workshops we've done this week, last week, all the stuff we've worked towards over this long period of time with the board and the sacrifice and hours we've spent in terms of trying to make a difference at a community level to start off with. He said make an impact, and even if it's to start a conversation, and that's pretty much what we're trying to do here today, to start a conversation, start a community, start a network, and understand that, together, with more than yourself, you can do a lot more. And obviously spreading the message about mental health, that there's no stigma around it. This person also said, I said, how are you? And he said, I'm okay. I'm seeing someone. I've seen someone for a long time now work on mental health. So he's checking in with himself constantly. So I guess this is what we're trying to bring today. We'll do a Holla workshop a bit later. These 24 hours will be intense. All right, it'll be a big challenge for most of you. It's going to be a fair bit of movement, a lot of exercise, a lot of fun, a lot of laughs. Hopefully not too many tears, but understanding that one of the probably key messages that I got taught not long ago actually by someone here named Kevin. He said, just enjoy it, have a smile on your face. When we ran from Sydney to Melbourne, you had to worry about every single step and not worry about the end of the day. Not worry about getting to the 100K, that end of the day is about, okay, the next step, and that's all I need to worry about today. Just worry about the next step, the next minute. Don't worry about finishing it, and try not to wish it away. Try not to go, I can't wait till this is done. It's bloody hard. Do you know what I mean? Have a smile on your face, enjoy it, because it's not very often that you get to put yourself out of your comfort zone for 24 hours. Stay here, you're going to be fatigued. Do you know what I mean? The first couple of hours you're going to be all hyped up and you're going to have fun, and we're going to go to the beach and we're going to have some fun. You know what I mean? The sun's going to be out. But by hour 20, you know what I mean, there's not going to be too many smiles. All right, so that's when, as a group, as a team, you're going to come together.
Before we start, I just want to say as well, just congratulations for signing up for this. I think it's a massive thing to be able to come in here out of your comfort zone and do 24 hours in here. But yeah, I think a lot of you are taking a massive leap today, and I think that's the biggest part of this, is being vulnerable and getting out of your comfort zone and doing something. So I think from all of us, we really appreciate you signing up and keeping Conquer going this year and pumping. It's an event we look forward to every year, and I can't even tell you the amount of time and effort we put into today. But it's so worth it. Like every minute of today is going to be worth it. And as Dill said, I think you've just got to enjoy and smile through the whole thing. At the end of last year, we came to the end of it, and we're just like so grateful that we did it. And everyone will honestly leave today thinking, tomorrow. Everyone will leave tomorrow thinking, I'll definitely be back next year. So just from all of us, I think thanks for coming today. And yeah, I'm pumped. I'm ready to go.
It started off strong. We had max cows going on. We had some pretty hefty efforts in terms of above the head raises with a plate and walking all the way down to the end of Maddox and back. So it started off really strong, really hard, and we tried to make sure that first event, it was enough to kind of build people up to knowing this is the expectation and this is the intensity we want throughout.
I've actually always avoided max cal session, so I think that's my first one ever. And it was really hard, but I think having that team energy and that excitement coming in is such a good way to start.
During it, I was definitely pacing myself. I didn't want to go too hard, too fast, because I knew this was going to be a long day and a big challenge. Max Cals isn't my favourite, but I think it was really good, and it was a great start to the day.
Yeah, so the unknown of this event, I think, is really, really appealing. You just don't know what's going to happen next. I think that's a great thing. There's a lot of kind of rumour and people, we think we're going to do this, or we think we're going to do, but it's completely different.
The whole thing about Conquer is you don't know what's coming next, which is a big thing as well. You don't know what's coming, you don't know what time you're getting woken up, you don't know what's next. All this sort of stuff throws your mental game right out because you're not sure. And I guess the unsure of it is half the battle of this sort of event.
And then obviously we went straight to the beach. And I think the beach was one of the hardest workouts that we did.
So the beach workout was incorporated into 4 little sections. We started off as one big group where we had a little bit of a race where they pumped up their own stand-up paddleboard and had to put into a frame with some pieces of wood and then carry one person all the way up the length of the beach and back. And they had to do a little bit of some exercise in between. And one of them was where you had to fill some water up and you were tied at your ankle every so often. You had to tie another person on.
It was full on, man. Like anything you do in sand is tough in general, and then everything you do on top of that just makes it even harder. And then you're in and out of the water, you're getting wet, you're dealing with the elements. It was full on, man.
To get out on the beach, to not know, to be blowing up a paddleboard and paddling it out around a buoy and carrying your team on the paddleboard, it was a great way of that team kind of creating that initial bond, which has been really good. You quickly understand the capabilities, don't like to use the term strengths and weaknesses, but kind of the strengths and weaknesses of your team, and we've all got them. So, and now we're learning that more, so we know, dependent upon the event or the challenge or the task, who we're going to kind of slide forward to be our point person, if you will.
one of them was like digging holes, to like put poles in and stepping over the poles. It was absurd, but a lot of fun.
There were some runs and we used the spin bike on the beach.
I loved the beach thing. Like, I've never done anything like that before. And I think that's one of like the things that got me really excited about this is like the teamwork, like being on the sand, incorporating the water. It's something different, and you know, it takes a lot of planning to be able to like run those types of events. So it was really cool that we could all get down there, and I liked having like different workouts, which was really cool. And they were all like very different.
The sun was out, the vibe was high, and gentlemen, it was one of my favourite things is that beach workout. Everyone was buzzing.
It was just everyone was getting around each other, and it was fun.
So after the beach workout, do you remember we'd been going for about 3 to 4 hours, everyone was starving. So got back, then we walked down to Zanzan's just up the road, again, one of our sponsors for the event. So they had an amazing lunch set up for us, which was good. Everyone was talking about the beach workout, some funny things that happened, and everything that went sort of down at the beach workout, and then also getting excited for what's next. I mean, if that's the first 4 hours of the 24 hours, and it was a pretty intense session, straight into a beach session. After that, we went back to the gym and got ready for another session. So we've got 2 more sections to go, but just while Nate's here in the cap at the back, he's our major sponsor, Westpoint Ford. If you want a new car or sell your car, make sure you go see Nate, alright? We'll give you his number, you can contact with him, alright? These people have bought cars for him, there's about 20 people members so far for the last year, alright? Alright, let's go to the next one. Thanks, Nate.
So after that, we went down and we went to the Bowls Club. So Newport Bowls Club was lucky enough to host us. We actually had a few things set up along that street, one at the Oval and sort of one at the netball court as well. So we had the guys doing their bowls and making sure they're hitting their targets down there as a team, and they were sort of rotating through a bit of a round robin. Yeah, they were going from the bowls, coming over to where I was doing a bit of a tennis ball throw game, where they had to sort of throw to different targets and catch it in the bucket, which is actually pretty funny to watch. It was blowing a gale. It was literally going sideways. So watching people throw, and I think a lot of Australians don't grow up playing cricket, whereas back in New Zealand we do. So I think it was quite funny watching a lot of you guys try and throw the ball. But it was good to watch, and then Dill had a little bit of a puzzle and sort of beer pong style game over on the far side.
From there they came to Camille and myself, where they had to do a bit of a word jumble, and then they had to play some ping pong into a cup, which seemed quite easy, but it was actually quite difficult. From there, then they went back to the lawn bowls, and we finished off as a bit of a group. So it was a bit of an amazing race to get through the whole thing as quick as you could, and they'd run back to the lawn bowls at the end. So after the lawn bowls, the fun and games sort of thing, we got back to the gym, we did another workout.
So basically we just threw them back in the deep end. This workout was probably one of the toughest, I reckon. I mean, I remember being here and watching the conditioning section, which I was sort of running outside, and it was full on. The sun was out too, so being out in the sun and doing your conditioning is always a little bit harder. But it was a good, another hour of sort of weights, conditioning, and you know, sort of 15-minute blocks on each piece. So it was not easy, and it was, yeah, it was just non-stop. It was just workout after workout. Started to get to the point in the afternoon at that stage where I was like, man, these guys are getting slammed, and I was starting to watch people sort of go, holy moly, like I'm in the deep end.
So once we did a couple more workouts, we then moved on straight to Bayfit, which again was one of the main attractions for what was coming for Conquer. We're very lucky to have the opportunity to hire out Bayfit for a couple of hours when they closed their doors to the public. So the oval behind, so we had the little cross field behind it. We had half the group come out with myself and Dan, and then we had the other half of the group doing a workout inside with skis, dumbbells, and using the pool. I heard a lot of interesting stories from people trying to take some crazy dives into the pool that were very questionable. But yeah, the workouts both tied in quite nicely together with a bit of dry and obviously getting wet as well.
And then we had another whole group outside with Dan and Jake. That one was probably a bit tougher than what we probably expected. Some carries using our sandbags we used from our beach workout. We had some spin bikes down there as well. So all the equipment we transported in our truck to the different areas to make sure that when we got there, they were ready to go.
Pretty interesting in terms of like using the outside area because it was quite warm. We did some farmer carry efforts, we did some teamwork efforts on spin bikes and getting some kettlebells involved as well, but it was more endurance based rather than sprint. So it was very much all about who can get through the workout that was based on just longevity work. The workouts both tied in quite nicely together with a bit of dry and obviously getting wet as well.
And then after the pool workout, then we hit the ice baths. The ice baths are, again, one of the, I guess, major things of the 24 hours that we've done every single year. That's to put people into an ice bath. A lot of people haven't done ice baths before. And I think this year was 140 bags of ice. It was cold. It was really cold.
Here we are on the smash tonight. The gym, see how good I am on the boxing against the great. I love seeing you people get in there, get outside your comfort zone and achieve something.
Blake and Senna bring a lot to our club and bring a lot to our events that we do, whether it's through Hollow, whether it's through Wellness West, doing their events here at TPC. But those two boys have really become a huge part of our facility and a huge part of our lives, which is fantastic. And I've really started to see the effect of what they do on people and also our club. So getting them into full effect and watching them do their thing is something that's really special to me. Watching them explain and nurture and prepare these guys for something that's really far outside of their comfort zones. I can't tell you how hard an ice bath is if you haven't done one, but it looks like it's a piece of piss. It looks like it's very easy, but I did a little ice bath session with Blake and Barley, and me and Dill did it, and I swear to you, every second I wanted to get out of that ice bath, and it kept me in there with my breathing and my breath work. And it's one of the hardest things I've done this year. And it sounds crazy considering what I've done and what I push myself to do, but it's unbelievably hard. So watching the boys do their thing, get these people in these ice baths and comfort them and nurture them and push them to places that they didn't want to go, man, to me that was a real highlight of the day.
Everyone did it, everyone got through, and it was super humbling to see a lot of people come out of it and feel like they are refreshed, which made us feel good because we knew there was going to be another workout coming as well. So we needed them fresh, and that cold plunge really reset their body and their minds.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, so when we got back from the pools, it was sort of a group decision between myself, Dylan, Jake, that we'd sort of call it for the night. I think the adrenal spike of the ice baths and 7.5, 8 hours of training, people came back and they were just cooked. And I think you can agree with me if you've done this event and you were there. No one wanted to get up and go again. So we kind of felt the vibe and we're like, look, let's call it for the night in terms of training, but let's smash into some of the things we want to do in terms of breath work and movement. So we got Marlene down at Newport Pizza to look after us. She's bloody amazing, always looks after the family. And Sarah from Oddspot brought some salads down. And the food was unbelievable. I think it was much needed. Everyone was starving. I think the pizzas lasted about 8 minutes and they were gone.
Close your eyes. Come into a seated position. Recenter ourselves in the room.
Had dinner, came back, and then we stuck straight into some movement. So Senna ran us through some movement and some mindful movement, which he does, and he's a gun. So just really, he just reads the room so well. Like, got straight into a little bit of stretching. It wasn't too intense. It was literally just moving the body, releasing the hips, releasing the back. It was bloody fantastic.
The most powerful, I think, the most powerful moment of Conquer was that emotional breath work that went on with Blake. I've never, I've been in a situation before. We had obviously last year with Mark with his breath work. It was quite powerful, but something ticked over this year, and something really put people into a very vulnerable position.
Extremely emotional, and you're quite proud of thinking about this year's year. Now, the best thing that you can all do for today is to have an intention and no expectation. It's the best thing. Now, the number one thing that you can do for your intention if you're not doing something is to feel it. Right? Because it's okay. It's okay to feel, and we sort of get to work on.
The way he describes and explains and nurtures, it makes people feel safe and confident and comfortable. I've never seen anyone do that before, and I've seen a lot of people do group breath work. So I was very amazed by what he did, and I was in awe of his skills. So he got that done, and we sort of went into that, and he gave me and Dylan and Jake a bit of a briefing beforehand as sort of mental health ambassadors at the club, to just walk around and make sure that everyone was okay, and giving a bit of mental health first aid. And I'm telling you, like, it shocked me how overwhelming the breathwork was for a lot of people this year, and just how much emotion it brings out. I've always been a sort of distant believer in breathwork and how it works, but I'm telling you right now, like, I'm more convinced than ever about how it works and how good it is for you, and the emotional release that I felt in that room, and the special kind of bond you felt with people that without even saying a word. Yeah, I think for me, It was probably the highlight of the event for me personally. Yeah, it was very special to watch him do his thing again, as I said, but it's what he does and how he does it is so much different to anyone else I've seen do it. It's something I'll never forget, and I just want to thank Blake so much for what he did that night and for the connections he made. I think he's done an incredible job. Yeah, I think the right word is a nap. I think we did have a bit of a nap. I don't think it was a sleep. I think we got about 3.5 hours, 4 hours sleep max, and a lot of people said they didn't sleep, which is fair. I think you're all jacked up, you're in a strange environment, you're not in your own bed, you're probably a bit uncomfortable, probably hearing a bit of Craig snoring potentially as well upstairs.
We went to bed at about sort of 11:30, 12, I reckon, and then I knew that I think I was probably the only one, and the coaches that were waking up at 4. And then we were starting our first workout at 4:30. It was just going to be about an hour workout, and then we're going to hit our Holler workshop to finish us off on that bit of a high and a bit of that sharing, the vulnerability, the connection before we left. Again, all the hard work was sort of building up on that first day, and then we hit that pinnacle, and then obviously went to bed, and then we wanted to make sure when we woke up, it was just bang again, and was straight into it. And then we would relax when we were talking about the Holler workshop.
But yeah, I think it was a short nap, and we're straight back up. We're straight back up at 4 a.m. The lights are on, music turns on, which is never a comfortable thing for anyone. You watch people's faces; they do not enjoy it. We're straight back into a massive sesh. We just pumped out a huge session, over an hour straight away, and then we just flew through that. And watching people try and move after a little bit of a rest is an interesting one, because your body just gets tight, and then you are just. Everything is hurting, and I really commend everyone for getting up and smashing that session, because the vibe was very high, the energy was high, and it's one of those things, you're close to the end, so you know what's coming, so you kind of just empty the tank. Everyone started to sort of empty out.
That session, there was 3 components. There was a strength, a bit slower, and then there was a one where we had to, I guess, lunge all the way out, which again, when you're lunging 400 meters with a plate or any sort of weight, that's hard work. And again, that was more of a mental one to not have to stop.
Send me back to Sydney, please.
Craig, you getting these perfect lunges so you can shoot back to it and stand?
How good, huh? Full moon, beautiful morning.
I think that's a street light curve number move.
Good crew. It's over there, mate. Beautiful full moon. Let's show some gratitude for the morning, boys.
We're going delusional.
And then we kicked into our Holler workshop, which is one of the most important things of the 24 hours, is that workshop about creating that awareness about mental health, about getting people to understand their own mental health conditions and where they sit every single day, and then also what tools they can use to make sure that they're putting themselves in the best mental health condition every single day, seeing the signs, the warning signs of anyone around them or themselves when they might need help, when they might need to go and share with someone, to be able to find a group, to find someone that they trust, that they can go to and share in good times and bad times. And that's what the Holler workshop is all about. All right, our last little thing. It's been 23 hours of hard work, done some breath work, which is obviously really beneficial. We saw the outpour of emotion last night, which was again being vulnerable, which is exactly what we want to have in this situation here. As Blake said yesterday, this is a safe space, all right? And I'm really proud of that, for this being a second home to a lot of people, all right? But even to be able to show emotion like he did yesterday means you're in a safe space, and we spoke about it after. So the Holler Foundation is an early intervention. The idea is we get out to schools, businesses and stuff like that to help them educate when you're not feeling right and you need to go get help.
because it was one of the most scariest things I've ever done, is going to get help.
I feel like the Holler Workshop, and again, we're running those at the moment with Holler and going to businesses and schools and sporting clubs, which has been amazing. We've had really good feedback from businesses. So being able to then replicate that in the gym in front of 60 people and have that opportunity to have the vulnerable conversation about Holler and about mental health. What people saw and what they had an understanding of is Holler is out there to help.
The Holler Workshop was designed obviously to bring awareness to mental health. The main thing is that we want people having the conversation. It's that simple. We're not trying to turn people into psychologists or therapists or anything like that. We want people to be able to be vulnerable with their friends, vulnerable with their family, and be able to have a conversation when they're not feeling well. To also be able to have a conversation when they're feeling great. I think one of the great things that Tom Boyd said is when he did one of our seminars is that you want to have conversations with people when you're feeling great, so that when you're not feeling great, it's a lot easier to have. So we just want to make sure that people are having these conversations and that they're aware of other people's mental health, but not only that, aware of their own. So the Holler Workshops we've been doing recently with companies, businesses, schools, sporting clubs, we've been out in the community smashing them out, and it's been a pleasure, if I can say that word. I think it's brought a lot of joy to the people that have run it so far. Myself, Jake and Dylan have been running them, and Blake as well. Yeah, it's brought a lot of joy to us, and it's really making a difference. I feel like it is, and we've had some extremely good feedback. So being able to run this workshop that we've been working so hard on for our members was actually a really special moment. I think it sort of came full circle. We're like, wow, 2 years ago we thought about running a charity, and now all of a sudden we have a charity. We're raising money for that charity, and not only that, we run the charity and we run these workshops. It's come full circle in 2 years. So who knows what happens in 2 years from now, but Holler's on the up, and it's making a huge difference in the community. So that workshop that we ran for the team was very special for us, running through exactly what we do for our community day to day, and exactly why they're doing Conquer and what they're raising money for, showing them our hard work. Yeah, it was a really, really good way of capping off the weekend.
He puts us on every year, and he tries to divert all the accolades, everybody else, but he's a man who's led this from the start, so big cheers for George.
I think it's really great to bring awareness to mental health, because there is such a stigma around talking about mental health. It requires people to be vulnerable, and being in a place where we're encouraged and we're given the space and time to do that is an awesome experience, especially having so many people being able to get such diverse answers. Yeah, I think it's just a really great and safe space to do that, and bringing that awareness. Hopefully for most people they can take away something to help themselves or know where to look for answers.
I don't know how many times I've said that to people, or said that to friends, family, new members that are signing up, but I can't put into words how special this place is. It's very hard to understand unless you feel it or you're here. I always say good vibes bring good vibes. So. And good people bring good people. So it's exactly what we have here. We've been so lucky, and this is exactly why putting on these events is so rewarding, is because we love doing it for these people. These people mean so much to us, and we say family a lot and we use it lightly, but it's very important that people realise that we really mean that.
To know you've done this day with 4 other like-minded peeps, I think that's a big part of the success of this day. So,
the TPC community is one of a kind, and I've said it for a long time now that you can't buy what this is. You can't fake it. It's there, and it's a special thing. It's a special thing when you're able to walk through the doors of a facility and for this to be such a safe space for everyone, that there's no egos, everyone's getting around each other, everyone wants the best for the person next to them. And I really think that's a special thing. I think that it's something I'm probably the most proud of, is that you have to really forge it over a period of time, that you gain all these people coming through the door that have the same mindset, and is the reason why we have so many members here that want to use TPC as their gym, because it becomes a second home. It becomes a safe space that you can walk through the door knowing you're going to get smiles and ask how you're going and all this sort of stuff.
Every year, for some reason, I have the feeling that it's not going to be successful, or I'm worried, but every year we pull it off. As I said before, the team's so strong we have here. Our staff are so incredible at what they do. I would say, you know, most of us are event planners now part-time. Like the amount of events we do here and the amount of time and effort we put in, and the way they're structured and the way they flow, we're getting very good at it. But every year there's that slight feeling that something's going to go wrong or we have a mishap, and things do, but no one would even know. We're just so smooth at making sure that things, you know, have an option or have a plan, or we've got second, you know, plan A, B and C. But this year was an extreme success. The feedback's been incredible, which I didn't really expect. I never really expect that. But getting the feedback about how well it ran and how hard it was and how enjoyable it was is always, I'm always very grateful for, because it makes my job so much easier doing it next time, because I think about the success of last time. So I really can't wait for 2024. I think we're going to have to make it bigger and better again. How we make it different, that's on the table already. And people are already saying, oh, how do I sign up for next year? So that's always a really good thing. When someone's saying that, I know I've done the right thing and I know it was worth it.
And that's Conquer for 2023 over.